welcome to the school board meeting here this lovely evening. I wish it was summer still. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, welcome. First duty of mine is to call roll here with the current board, and we have one absent, which is an excused absence. And we're going to do audience participation first, or second. Okay. Nobody wants to talk to us. That's good. Things are going well. I'll assume that. So, yeah, assuming, exactly. So for number three, a special recognition tonight, and I'll let the Excellence Award recipients, and I'll let Kathy Everidge from the administration, Human Resource Head, and Rosemary Fryer from the board on those.
Good evening, Dr. Webb, members of the board, and community guests. It is my privilege to present the 2016 October Employee Excellence Awards to 4 deserving staff members. This award recognizes individual employees for creating a positive, caring, and productive school environment through exceptional effort, dedication, and performance in their areas of responsibility. Employees are nominated by colleagues, supervisors, parents, community members, and students. And nomination forms can be found on the school district website. A panel made up of representatives from throughout the district reviews all nominations and selects those to receive recognition. Tonight's Excellence Award recipients are Albert Alcantar, Trey Hollabaugh, Brian Rasmussen, and Jeffrey Schofield. If the award recipients could please join me up here at this time, I'd appreciate that. First, I'd like to start with Albert Alcantar, Director of Athletics and Safety. He was hired in September 2005. Albert, you want to step out a little bit? They see who you are. Since stepping into his current position, Albert has accomplished some amazing things, say those with whom he works. He has become a visible, active leader who is dedicated to enhancing district resource officer trainings, improving the safety office, and holding himself and others accountable. Just as importantly, he's quick to greet and thank his supervisees for their work. The positive energy that he brings makes everyone want to give it their best. He makes everyone around him better, says his nominator. Sometimes you hit a home run when you bring a new director. Mr. Alcantar is a grand slam. Congratulations. Now I'd like to recognize Trey Hollabaugh, our network specialist, ITS department, who was hired in September 1981. Trey. Multiple nominations for Trey demonstrated his professionalism and flexibility, as well as just how much his colleagues respect him. Trey never shies from a complex or long-term project, such as installing Wi-Fi networks on buses, and will alter his work hours, collaborate with multiple vendors and departments, and persistently will troubleshoot the issues. But no matter how technical the issue, he is adept at translating information that in a way is both respectful and helpful for others. Those who work closely with him call him wicked smart class act. According to them, Trey is someone who takes his job seriously and emanates kindness. Congratulations, Trey. And now I'd like to recognize Ryan Rasmussen, paraeducator, Columbia River High School, hired in January 2013. As a one-on-one paraeducator, Rasmussen is integral to the education of a student with special needs. Ryan uses technology to make subjects like video production accessible for someone with limited motor and verbal skills. Rope teacher Janine Blackwell. Ryan started right away creating buttons and commands on the student's iPad that would function as verbal commands for shot composition, camera movement, and placement, and the basic editing commands. The student was able to create all of his own videos, making all the creative decisions, and his voice came through loud and clear. It was amazing to watch. Congratulations, Ryan. And now we'd like to recognize Jeffrey Schofield. Jeffrey is a teacher at Fort Vancouver High School. He was hired in August of 2008. As an educator and head of Fort's English department, Jeff is committed to improving his own practice and that of his colleagues through professional development and teacher mentoring. Boosting morale also is important to Jeff, who initiated a student and staff recognition program called Super Trackers. On a daily basis, he makes it his job to greet students, help them get to class on time, and collaborate with the entire Fort staff. Wrote one nominator, Jeff is amazing with his own students, but he is also a teacher's teacher, professionalizing the field of education and always reminding us that we are lifelong learners. Congratulations, Jeff.
Well, congratulations to these gentlemen, all men. This is awesome. I want to congratulate them. I don't know if you really were listening to what Kathy was reading, so I'm just going to review for you some of the key words that I heard. Amazing, emanates kindness, integral part. This is hard for an English teacher to say, wicked, smart, class act. Makes everyone around him better, respectful, committed, professional. That tells me that we have people in our classrooms who are teaching kids, because what we learn with pleasure, we never forget. And so that's what you're doing for our students, and it is our great privilege to thank you for that. And we are grateful that you teach with not only your heads, but you teach with your hearts. So thank you very much on behalf of the board and the Vancouver Public Schools.
Say thank you to Trey, because Trey helped me in the past, back when computers were first new to some of this aged folks. Anyway, Trey bailed me out many times. He is outstanding for sure. He's the only one I knew before, so thanks for your help. Okay, let's move on to Design 2 Showcase.
Yeah, sure. The Design 2 Showcase focuses on flexible learning environments, as the board is aware. We're ending almost 2 years of internal and external public engagement related to capital facilities planning. And with us today are April Whipple, principal at Peter S. Ogden, and Lori Weidman, who is the FCRC coordinator at Peter S. Ogden. I'm going to talk a little bit about the symposia process and some of the design concept illustrations that were generated as a result of that process. To do the introduction is Doug Hood.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Webb, members of the board, and patrons. It gives me great pleasure to introduce two Peter S. Ogden staff members that advocate for their families and students that they serve on a daily basis. I would like to introduce Principal April Whipple and FCRC Coordinator Lori Weidman. These two individuals have been instrumental in the vision of flexible learning environments at Peter S. Ogden currently, and also they're going to present what will be possible in the future. So please help me welcome Principal April Whipple and FCRC Coordinator Lori Weidman.
All right, Dr. Webb, community members, board members, and guests, we want to thank you just for this opportunity to be here this evening and share with you just about the outcomes of our Peter S. Ogden Planning Symposium. It was in March of last spring. Despite the challenges that an older building brings, we have been able to reflect on the experience from last spring and start to implement some of the new concepts and ideas. So at Ogden, we are a community of learners and a family. We've been able to work with the building that we do have, and we've created an amazing atmosphere for our students, no matter what their circumstances are. Many of our students face challenges in their lives and need a lot of additional support. And moving forward, one thing we feel strongly is they shouldn't have to worry about the building. They need a safe and stable environment and a building they can take pride in. So we spent the day looking to the future last March 3rd, and last March, and there are three design concepts that emerged from the planning symposium.
So the first concept is community school, and it's the hub of the community. There's full services that are available for students and their families. There's a large community accessible plaza serving as a town square with space for community organizations and school-based support services. Also provided are spaces and extended hours for outside groups and organizations. It includes a larger area for pickup and drop-off to ease neighborhood congestion.
Concept 2 is the green school concept. So in this concept, we are looking at sustainable school built with sustainable materials. We are looking at using alternative energy and bringing nature inside of the school. There's an internal courtyard that you see there with a greenhouse, large windows for natural light and access to fresh air. The idea of this concept is to bring the outside into the classroom. The facility itself would be used as a learning tool, so students can learn about the natural resources that are used within the building. And then the outdoor classroom will have nature trails around the school, a nature-based playground, along with a community garden.
The third concept is the stream. The pathway that runs through the building simulates the flexible, flowing design of the school. It incorporates fluidity in time, space, and work. Spaces are adaptable for students, staff, and community. Walls and furniture can be configured in different ways to support a multitude of learning needs, a variety of subject areas, evolving technology, and group work.
Our symposium participants were very positive about their experience at the symposium. So looking at the exit tickets, one of the quotes that came out was, "This is a fascinating process that I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of. I encourage you to continue to use the lens of your student body in this process." And then a second participant said, "I appreciate the involvement of various parties. From students, teachers, parents, and community, everyone here has a voice." So our new building is still a while away, but we walked away from the symposium energized, excited, but also reflected on what are some things that we can take away and concepts that we can implement right away.
So one of the pieces we reflected on immediately was redefining our family engagement. So with the newsletter, we realized that some of our most involved parents were not aware of some of the activities and programs going on at Ogden Elementary. As a result, we updated the school newsletter from monthly to weekly publication, changed it to one page. It's now translated in Spanish and is distributed via paper, email, and Facebook to our families. Another thought on family engagement is that a true measure is not just based on head count. Though we are pleased that our event attendance numbers have increased at popular events, we are reassessing the effectiveness of these events to support student learning by building strong family-school partnerships. Through a webinar on this topic, it was suggested that families should know the answer to these three questions. If families can answer these questions, we will then know what we are doing as effective family engagement. We are also reflecting on what engagement can look like for families who are not able to attend events, but want to support their students from home. As we consider a new Peter S. Ogden Elementary, a community school model would meet our family engagement goals and could include parent group space for roundtable discussion and volunteering, community meeting space to be the hub of the neighborhood, after-school enrichment space with community partners, and a preschool. So feedback from the symposium has prompted us to start looking at changes to our family fun nights. to implement and create a deeper form of family engagement.
Okay, another concept that came out of the Ogden Symposium, but also multiple symposiums across the district, is the concept of a makerspace. There's many definitions of a makerspace. The one that our building decided on that we felt fits best is the following. A makerspace is a place where students can gather to create, invent, tinker, explore, and discover using a variety of tools and materials. So in a makerspace, you take science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and you're combining them together into STEAM education. And in this space, students have an opportunity to participate in the design process. So they learn through trial and error. We want our students to try something, to fail, to learn from that experience, and then to try something again. When we walked away from the symposiums, we had this concept of makerspace, but knew we needed more information as a district. If we have never been in a makerspace or had our own makerspace, it's going to be challenging to tell architects what we're looking for to build a makerspace. So a group of us went to Pittsburgh, and we were able to attend the League of Innovative Schools K-12 makerspace tours. These are a few different spaces in that, on that tour. And we were very inspired by watching the students all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade working in the spaces. So we flew back with the idea of starting small. So we have an art room that is not used 2 days a week, so we thought, why don't we try a makerspace lesson there on the days it's available. So we got a brave teacher to try a lesson out, and then we also did some staff training around what a makerspace was. Over the summer, it ended up being finalized that we were receiving a portable, and that's when the idea grew a little bit bigger, because we recognized that we would actually have a classroom space. So what, if we dreamt a little larger, what would that look like if we actually had a room for a makerspace? So thanks to support from the district, we've been able to implement a full elementary makerspace pilot. So this is our makerspace with our vision of create, invent, tinker, explore, and discover. So we're pulling from that definition that we found. The mission that our staff created is PSO will use our makerspace to develop the mindset of students to look at the world through taking it apart and learning how it works. Our makerspace will allow our kinesthetic, visual, logical, and social learners to have a place to learn in a very tactile, collaborative, and self-directed way. This also aligns very closely with our district's vision for learning. And so we are now part of a small, they're calling it innovative test kitchens throughout VPS that are part of We Make VPS. A wonderful outcome of this project so far are a lot of new community partners. So first off, we've been able to work with Tinker Camp, which is a nonprofit organization in Portland. They consulted with us on the purchasing of materials, the writing of a vision, and we were able to observe their makerspace summer camp, and then they are coming and doing an all-staff training on November 5th. We partnered with the Andreessen Home Depot. They provided us 2 personal shoppers for our shopping day discounts and continued support. There's a contractor we connected with at Home Depot who now brings over scrap wood to our school. The Milwaukee rep who we worked with on the tools has offered assistance in safety training. We have also connected with a local expert who did her doctoral thesis on makerspaces. So we're contracting with her for a pre and a post survey to measure the skill set of students and staff and their growth mindset. And then we have 2, you get a picture of them because they haven't been in this week. We have 2 powerful makerspace moms. They're actually sisters that are heavily involved in Boy Scouts, and so this hit home for them. So they have adopted the makerspace and taken it on, and they're our organization women. In our makerspace, there's 4 centers. So we have arts and crafts with paint, beads, glue, pipe cleaners, popsicle sticks. We also have our sewing and textile center that has sewing machines, fabric scraps, needles, and thread. Construction and woodworking, things like hammers, nails, sandpapers, and additional power tools for staff use. And then robotics and electronics has batteries, wires, LED lights, motors, laptops, and coding and programming tools. Our space just opened this month, so it's very new. We were able to host Deborah Hale and Mark Stoker on the first week, so that was exciting. Right now, teachers are signing up on the Google Drive, so they're able to just sign up for the time they need. We do have 2 required lessons for this month. So they need to do one lesson that's on we're PBIS school, so on our expectations for PBIS in the makerspace. And then a second lesson where they do an actual activity where they implement those expectations and reflect on it. Then after that, teachers are free to sign up with their class after they finish their requirements. Right now, our teacher librarian is taking all of the classes through robotics rotations. So they're using Little Bits, Osmo, and Ozobots in their rotations so that the teachers and the students have exposure to what's available. We are definitely not experts in this process, so we are learning and we will definitely hit roadblocks, and we have hit some, we're working on them. We don't have the answers, but that's kind of part of the process. So we're learning right along with the kids. We are being makers. We're learning from this as we go. Our ITF actually made a video that we're going to show you so that you can have a visual of the space and feel the excitement. Okay, it's going to be much less dramatic. All right. That's all. It's music only, so the drama is going to be gone. But
You can sing.
it was really dramatic with sound. So we know that the needs of tomorrow's students are definitely not the same as the needs of the students when Ogden opened its doors in the 1970s. And we know the needs of tomorrow's students are not even the same as the needs of the students we have right now. So we definitely look forward to continuing to communicate with you and share with you as we work toward our goal of opening a brand new building that we know will meet the needs of tomorrow's students. Thank you. Any
So
questions?
is there excitement around this at the school with the staff? I mean, I sense it from you all.
And you would have sensed it at the sound too. Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, with any adoption, there are definitely staff that are more eager than others. So some are a little bit nervous, and I think part of that comes from where sometimes teachers feel like they need to have all the answers. And so the realization that the whole idea is that you're going into this and you're letting the kids solve the problems is a change in concept. And I know even for myself, it was a simple thing. We were in there with a group of kids on our robotics lunchtime, and we needed to move the tables, and there's actually a locking mechanism on the wheels. And I went to go, and just a simple thing in the room, I'm trying to help myself, but I'm like, oh, and you just have to do, and the teacher librarian's like, don't tell them how to fix it. Let them figure out how to undo the locking mechanism. So it's just a simple thing like that where, you know, oh, that's true, like this is part of the makerspace. I can let them actually figure it out. So I think once the teachers are getting in there and doing these intro lessons, they're starting to definitely feel a little bit more ease and comfortable. There's others that have been asking me since the first day of school, when is it going to be open and when can we get in?
So is it available for, is it a class time for all students, or is it something specific to, how do you integrate it with the?
Yes, our plan right now is that it is set up as a sign-up like a computer lab would be. So whenever teachers want to use the space, they can sign up for a set period of time and bring their class in. We're hesitant to create a schedule because we feel like some activities are going to take longer than others, so we want it to be flexible. There were some models we saw in Pittsburgh that were outstanding with makerspace teachers and co-teaching, where there was a full-time teacher and then there was a schedule, but the teacher came and met the makerspace teacher and they co-taught together. So that was pretty exciting, but that's long-term planning.
So credit to April and Lori and the entire PSO team. Ogden's an old building, kind of tired. but this space is so well put together and so engaging. I think it was one of our first stops on a daily visit. I didn't want to leave. You know, it just would have been fun to hang out all day and work through each of those stations. So it's a great way for kids to learn, and you can see where the passion's going to come from for those students. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, the thrill of the school board meeting will continue on. Consent agenda is next, and I'll need a motion to approve consent.
I'll move for approval.
Second, okay. Any discussion on consent? Hearing none, all in favor of consent?
Aye.
Aye. All right, it passes. I don't hear any nays, so everybody says aye, so done. All right, Dr. Webb, business, regular business.
First item of regular business is a recommendation to approve rental agreement number 2016-029, Sunlight Supply Amphitheatre, to best address the needs of our 4 comprehensive high school commencement ceremonies. The Vancouver School District will host commencement ceremonies in the amphitheater starting in June of 2017. With an increase in graduation rates, there is greater seating capacity needed. The amphitheater has 8,000 covered seats. In addition, all seats are on a single level, which makes them much more accessible for disabled and elderly guests. The amphitheater will provide services that are currently contracted out by buildings, such as sound, video, and lighting. There's ample parking on site, and the amphitheater will provide staffing for traffic control, which eliminates the burden on our current high school teaching staffs who typically volunteer for such duty. Setup and cleanup will also be provided by the amphitheater, eliminating considerable work time for our maintenance teams. Additionally, the amphitheater will provide all staging, which currently is a significant cost to purchase and maintain for each building. And as the board is aware, the elimination of those staging costs and the availability of the gymnasiums are added benefits for the high school programming. The fund source is the general fund. It's a recommendation that the board of directors approve a rental agreement with Sunlight Supply Amphitheater to host 4 graduation ceremonies in June of 2017 at a cost not to exceed $58,900 plus applicable Washington State sales tax.
We have a recommendation. May I have a motion?
I move that we approve the recommendation to.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I just want to say it's a great opportunity for families to be able to sit together. In the past, we've sometimes had overflow capacity, which is separated families. So this space will enable entire families to sit together, which is an additional, I think, a significant additional benefit.
And I'll just comment, Rosemary and I are on contracts, and we reviewed this with Todd, and I was concerned about the money being spent and not having it at our home schools. But as it turns out, there's a fair amount of expenditure at our own home schools because of the extra work that needs to go for Skyview. It's in 2 different auditoriums. You have security issues. You got a lot of things that are built in anyway. So Todd assured me that it's very close to, very similar to the expense, allowing for all these family issues and convenience. So we're going to try it this year, and it made some financial sense to do it and convenience for the community. So it made sense to us this time contracts.
Well, and it's just it's much more welcoming when you can find a parking space, when you can if you've ever had anybody in a wheelchair, and you try to navigate like Hudson's Bay, the gym, I mean, it's just not very easy. And so I just think that our families will appreciate the accommodation that this will allow. And we can have families not be limited to how many people can come.
That's right.
Because this is an important event for a lot of families. And when you start saying that you can only have 8 tickets, well, if you have 15 people in your family that want to come, then how do you say who comes and who doesn't? So I think this equalizes the playing field. It's all about equity also. So I think you can't make a better move than this. I did in the meeting, though, when you change venue, it's always important to go through the a tradition of respectful graduation, because there may be a tendency to think, well, we're not in our home school, so therefore we don't meet certain expectations. But yeah, I just think this is a great idea. I just think it's great for families. So.
Rosemary and I were very specific about the high expectations for proper conduct, behaving like an adult. They're about to enter that world and all that sort of thing.
I'm sure the principals share that.
Yes.
concern.
Yeah, that's quite true. Probably more than we did.
Superintendent does too.
For the record.
For the record.
For the record. Okay, well, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Dr. Webb, it's superintendent report.
No superintendent report?
No.
No.
No. I was watching. Sorry. Any comments from the board? Anything we want to share or nothing further? No? Fine. Can I get a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Moved, second.
Second.
All right, we adjourn.